Hi there from the Valley of the Stars, and thanks for listening in to this month's dispatch from the blog Off Grid and Entertaining in Portugal. We have been very busy. I hoped to get something out a couple of weeks ago, but so much to say, so much to do, not much time to write. But this dispatch is entitled Whirlwind Wedding, a month of projects, people, and an overconfident puppy. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Journalists, more than most, really need a deadline to get stuff done. And I, more than most journalists, really need a deadline. And there's nothing like hosting a wedding for the first time with 100 guests to focus the mind. Sure, I waved. We'll build a deck there, throw up a shade over the front of the clubhouse, the meal, no bother. It's all so much easier said than done. But once committed, the plans had to be drawn up, the materials decided upon and delivered, and the drilling, cutting, hammering and screwing all performed around visitors here for a peaceful getaway. There have been many deadlines already this year. Removing weeds, planting trees, shrubs, herbs, vegetables and grapes in that little window between clay soil being mud and it turning into concrete. There's been some building work, running repairs ahead of the season, raised bed making, container beautifying and competitive grass cutting, all complicated by the conflicting demands of an early start to avoid the heat, but not wanting guests to wake up to the far from soothing sound of a two-stroke engine. And so began a whirlwind month of woodworking and physics to create a deck suspended over the hillside and a shade to withstand the wonderful wind from the Atlantic, which, even in a heat wave, air conditions our valley every afternoon. 100 guests sounds like a stretch for an off-grid place like ours, but with a fabulous caterer taking care of the meal service, a top audio engineer to make the most of a very talented DJ, and a brilliant barman to keep the drinks flowing, I think all would agree it was an absolute triumph. Oh, there's the wind coming in. When it's baking hot in the rest of the Iberian Peninsula, we get this amazing breeze. It's so nice. Sorry for the noise around the microphone, but I'm enjoying every moment of it. I've built decks before, but every time I start on a new project, it's like I've forgotten everything I've ever learnt and I have to start all over again. I have to throw myself back into the YouTube videos and reconsider all the options for how to secure the foundations, which screws and supports to use, and how strong everything needs to be. The first decision was to make the platform a lot bigger than was needed for a wedding ceremony, so it could be repurposed as a starlit sky dining deck, a yoga platform, or a performance space. There was sloping ground to contend with, hard clay to drill into, and planks of wood up to 5 metres long to manage. In situations involving structural integrity, I always go overboard, something we didn't want the bride and groom doing off the back of the deck and down the hillside, and so a rope safety barrier was added to the design. Amid a flurry of back-of-the-envelope calculations and help from Eduardo at the local farm supply store, Krishna, Jose and I juggled string and stakes, spirit levels and cement to create a new space with a stunning view. But that was the easy bit. The shade over our calçada cobblestone deck proved to be even more of a challenge. When we built the place, the clubhouse was designed around an uninterrupted view, requiring a gigantic reinforced concrete beam to support a 9-metre span without any posts disturbing the skyline. So we needed something strong enough to support more than 48 square metres of coconut fibre sails, but which could also be removed in the winter. Not wanting to dig up our beautiful cobbles, we decided to use wine barrels filled with gravel to anchor the 2 posts which couldn't be dug half a metre down. And after experimenting with different sized pipes and tubes, I discovered that the joining sections of a 110mm wastewater pipe was just the right size to provide a concrete secured hole for the posts to be temporarily wedged into. With thanks to our winemaking friend Mauro Azoya for sourcing the barrels, our Sterling Architecture Prize-winning pal Alex de Reyker for integrity of structure, and Isaac Newton, of course, for his underrated work on equal and opposite forces, we somehow succeeded in creating something both beautiful and effective. The guests appeared as if a fashion shoot had arrived in the valley, They watched the ceremony in the shade. They lunched under cover. They partied into the sunset and danced in fading light under a full moon. The VIP toilets trailered in for an off-grid celebration were fabulous, but Anna's idea of us building a luxurious loo with a view to help us with big events was a great takeaway. I do love a project. I wonder what YouTube has to say about that. With thanks to the amazing Maria and the catering team, her midwife pal Lotte and her husband Alka, who helped deliver a wonderful service, to Anton's bar, Ricardo on sound, and of course to the beautiful bride Ina and dashing groom Niels for trusting us with their big day. Their guests were brilliant, and we were flattered by the kind comments from the group of their friends we were lucky enough to host at Val des Estrelles for the whole weekend. We learnt so much and were filled with inspiration about what we can create in the future. Sadly, we didn't need to make a speech filled with such a long list of thank yous at the awards gala we attended. Despite all those votes we received from our wonderful readers and listeners, we didn't take the top prize. But we were delighted just to be there, to be nominated for a media award for our podcast series on wine at the Portuguese Association of Hotels, Restaurants and Similar Things, or RSP it's called. It was a fantastic night out at the Estoril Casino outside Lisbon, the place which inspired Ian Fleming's Casino Royale, and an interesting gathering of the great and the good of Portugal's hospitality industry. It was a great chance to dress up for the city instead of for the countryside, to catch up with a few friends, and to pick up the much-needed wine barrels for the shade, and our new own label white wine. Yes, with Mauro the winemaker and Oda the label designer, and before the labels have even arrived, we've already been wowing guests with our new white wine, which is a wonderful blend of the Portuguese grapes, Orinto and Fernão Pires, and the wonderfully flowery Gewürztraminer. And while I'll be writing more about our wines and our rapidly growing vineyard in my other blog about Portuguese wines, there is a plug online for the next 2 wine retreats. One is at the beginning of October and the other is in April, May next year. Please go online, have a look at the photographs, have a look at the invitation to apply to come and learn all about wine with us and our great sommelier friend Joanna Hutchins, either in October or next year. And if you can't make it, please spread the love among your friends. The first one was amazing. And finally, in our spare time, we have been introducing Ronaldo Romulus I to the household. The little mutt of a dog who was born on April the 1st is no joke to the other animals, asserting himself with the confidence of a small dog with big paws to grow into. We were introduced to Ronnie at just 6 weeks old, one of a litter of unexpected arrivals to a Portuguese couple near São Luís, not too far from us, here in Odmira. He's a cute little demon with sharp teeth who loves to chew, and he's brilliantly turned everything upside down. Oda named him. I asked permission to add the first, as I liked the way it sounded, but in Portugal's first World Cup football match, we were worried that Ronaldo might not be as popular a name as it used to be. The ups and downs of the tournament and Portugal's ageing superstar are a constant cause of concern for our small dog and the reputation of his namesake, but he's coping quite well so far. And he's adjusting well to head of marketing and entertainment. Why tell everyone about how wonderful the views are, how cool it is here by the ocean while the rest of the Iberian Peninsula bakes, and how welcome you'll be in the Valley of the Stars, when we can just say, we have a cute puppy. So come and see him now, and don't leave it until Ronaldo's an old dog struggling to even fetch a ball. Thanks for listening. Do go online, as I say, have a look. Do book to come and see us. We'd love to see you. And thanks very much for listening. See you next time.